Hey BookTube, it's Working Man Reads here, and today I'm going to be doing my top 5. Well, we're going to talk about some other books along the way, but my top 5 most disturbing reads that I have personally read so far. Right off the bat, I'm going to start with the fact that I am not well read on Edward Lee, but I have heard nothing but good stuff. And so at this point, you probably should check him out if you like extreme stuff. I need to read more. And also Richard Layman. I have read quite a few of his books, but none that have really disturbed me truly, so I chose to leave him off the list. Some other honorable mentions before we get into my list would be Dead Inside by Chandler Morrison. I know people love this one. I tend to not bring it up in my recommendations for extreme horror or disturbing fiction, just because of personal reasons, and then also the fact that I did find it to be a little repetitive in its nature. It's kind of a one-trick pony type extreme horror story. It's not the subject matter that it hits on, it's just that it hits it on the same head 1,000 times. I'm also currently reading Cows. I know this is a favorite, and I have not finished it yet, so it can't make the list. And then this one also, What Good Girls Do by Jonathan Butcher. I DNF'd it at chapter 15 or 14 because it just was too much for me, if I'm being honest. It was the one that I actually DNF'd, just because I have little girls, and although the character is of age, it just hit me at home, so. Alright, so starting up my list, we're going to start with The Slob by Aaron Beauregard. Now, this is a grotesque one about a young lady going door to door to make a little extra money, selling vacuum cleaners. This one has some grotesque scenes along the way. She basically is kidnapped and abused from there. It is heavy, it is dark, it is everything you expect for an Aaron Beauregard story. Next, we're going to have one that made me definitely squirm. And it also holds a little soft spot for me because it does take place in a motel, dirty hotel in Buffalo. I believe Womb by Duncan Ralston is coming out with a new edition here soon that I think is going to be on bookshelves near you. This one is interesting because you have a young man who basically pays for an escort for the night and begins to tell stories of things that have occurred in this lonely hotel room, and they progressively get worse from there. So Womb by Duncan Ralston. Next, we're going to have Talia by Daniel J. Volpe. Now, this might have been one of my first books I read in the splatterpunk genre, and I will just forever remember this one scene. Basically, this young lady is filming adult films, and they're pretty intense adult films, and there's a lot of grotesque, horrible things that occur at the end. A great character growth for our main character here, Talia, who is also featured in Billy Silver. This is kind of her origin story after the book Billy Silver by the same author. And Talia definitely leaves little to the imagination. Daniel J. Volpe has a certain way of writing sexual themes in his book that just really stick in your mind. There's an opening scene with a gentleman, and I'm just never gonna forget that. There's a lot I'm never gonna forget about Daniel J. Volpe's writing. Talia by Daniel J. Volpe. Next we have The Summer I Died by Ryan C. Thomas, if I'm not mistaken. This is probably my most recent extreme or splatterpunky story. Now, I think extreme basically teeters on more of a speculative, mind truck type storyline, where a splatterpunk is more in your face and hitting you. So this is just disturbing reads in general. Not that this doesn't have shock value horror in it, that you learn to kind of the slasher side of splatterpunk, but this does have that. But there's an emotional side, and you fall for these characters in this story. You have two young men that are getting ready to they're in that in-between point in their lives where they're childhood friends, but they're growing up and they're just going through that turmoil that we all went through at the end of school. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do with their lives, and they're out shooting pop cans with a gun late one night, and they hear a scream off in the woods, and they go investigate. Now, when they go investigate, they find some crazy stuff from there, and I don't want to spoil anything, but the story just escalates and gets wild, and yeah, justice for one of the characters in it. There's quite a few characters in the book, but God, you're really pulling for these people. Now, number one. Now, this is my definitive number one most disturbing book I have ever read. No book has ever disturbed me quite like this book. And that book is The Girl Next Door. I had to get rid of my copy. I'm pretty sure I gave it away. It is one of the most horrific stories I have ever read because it's based on a true story. And Jack Ketchum has a way of writing his books to make it tasteful. I think that he is way underrated, in my opinion, in the horror community. And I know we all appreciate Jack Ketchum, but we need to read more Jack Ketchum. We need to talk about more Jack Ketchum because he did something that I think takes a lot of balls when he wrote this story, because the abuse that a young lady endures throughout the story, and the way that you feel about the other characters and what was done and what should have been done really hits you right in the chest, and it never lets up. And God, it was just so sad, so horrible, and very, very deeply disturbing and unsettling. So that's The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. You can say these were in order, but that one is so definitively number one for me. The other ones could have fallen anywhere along the list, but there's only one that deserves that top spot in my book so far. I definitely have many more to read. I have become kind of a connoisseur of the extreme here. I have taken it upon myself to take one for the team and read everything that is ever really suggested to me that is extreme. And I have not been really let down so far. I enjoy it. I enjoy the no borders aspect of extreme and splatterpunk fiction. So yeah, we're going to go finish Cows tonight and see where that lands in the future. So far, it does start with quite the graphic scenes, and I don't know where it's going from here. So we're going to go read that tonight. But let me know any more horror, extreme horror, splatterpunk must-reads down below so that I can get caught up. I did read The Woods Are Dark by Richard Layman. I know that's a little bit more extreme for him. I know I need to read Edward Lee and go on from there. But until next time, this has been Working Man Reads. Deuces.